Welcome back to Not Your Average Joe and Dad, and today we'll be talking about some more of our stories, and we're going to bring you along for the ride.
Well, I get my microphone's falling here. Let me fix it real quick. I'll have to hold it this whole time. That'll work. That didn't work out well. Microphone came off the stand. Yeah. So here we are with our second podcast. First one we had fun with and been, doing the Instagram, and that's linked to Facebook, and did a TikTok and even got it on YouTube. So no matter which way you want to listen to it, it's there.
Yep.
It's on all the platforms, the Spotifys, the Amazons, the iTunes, whatever you like, it's there. So we've been having fun with that, but wanted to catch another recording before I head out of town. So we had some fun. Joe just got back from his mama and papa's. What all did you do there?
Played a video game that I really like, and
What's the name of the video game?
The Hunter Call the Wild, and my character is Remy Warren.
Yep. You watch YouTube videos and dream about hunting a video game. We hunt in real life all the time, and here you are dreaming about it and playing it on a video game when you're not here. Didn't you just kill something pretty fancy in that game?
Yeah, it was a rare, and it was a white fallow deer. It wasn't albino, but it was white.
I guess that's special. Is that why it's called a rare?
Yes.
That's fun. What else did you do while you were there?
So,
What does that mean?
sewing with the sewing machine.
Did you make something fun?
I made a pillow that had has camo patches on it because I kind of cut up the pillow wrong.
Well, tell me how you make a pillow.
So first you cut it out, you design it, and then if you want to put on a patch, you have to sew it before you sew the two pieces together, or you'll sew the two pieces together where you don't want to. And then you'll leave a little hole so you can flip it inside out. So first you sew it inside out, so when you turn it inside out, you can't see the threads, and then you stuff it, and then you sew the hole up, and then you're done.
Okay, so you don't have to turn it inside out anymore. That was enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so you're sewing on a sewing machine by yourself?
Yes.
And you were telling me you had to set it up. How'd you do that?
First you have to put on the thread it through a hole, loop it around something, thread it through another hole, thread it through another hole, and then thread it through another hole, and then thread it through another hole, and then finally thread it through the needle.
Not another hole?
No.
I'm glad you know how to do that, because I have no idea what you just said. Sounds complicated.
It is.
Yeah. But you came back with some pillows. Was that your first pillow?
No.
No, you've made a lot of pillows?
Yes.
I don't have a pillow.
I guess that's my next project.
Okay, good. I need a pillow. So you did that. You came back. You wanted to get back home to watch the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Which was very one-sided, kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Kind of moved on from that pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, which would have been Monday, we headed out to deer camp to start picking up stuff.
And squirrel hunting.
Yep, Joe wanted to squirrel hunt, so he had my 22 in tow.
Only 2 squirrels, and they were both running away from us.
They did. They ran fast. I heard squirrel, and then he took off. But we ran around. I had a lot of sticks set up, like Millennium 20-foot sticks that I use for my saddle. Had one set with a Millennium lock-on there, so we had to run around and go to a bunch of those and pull those down because a couple reasons. One, the season's over, but two is our hunting lease is for sale and they've been showing it, so we may not even have it next year. And we'll have to. I'm hoping we have it for turkey season. So we had to do all that, and then we ended up finding a camera, move some cameras from the deer stands to where I want to see if there's some turkeys, and found a camera that I had apparently forgot was there. I was like, Joe, is this your camera, my camera? Whose camera is this? And it turns out I'd moved it there last turkey season and completely forgot about it. But all year I've been like, Joe, I know I have 4 cell cameras. I don't know where the 4th one is. And lo and behold, it was in the woods.
And so we were taking down another camera, and Dad's taking down the camera, and I jump off the four-wheeler. I'm running with the 22, and I'm running after a squirrel, and Dad's like, is it a squirrel? I'm like, yeah. And then he sees me disappear, and then we never see it again.
In fairness, the four-wheeler was off and it was parked. The
Yes.
22 was unloaded. It's a Bolt 22, so he knows it was not loaded, but I looked up and he was running down the food plot, and I was like, "Squirrel," and he's like, "Yeah, squirrel," and then he just disappears off into the woods, and I finally go walking and find him, and he's sitting there with the rifle laid over a tree just looking like he's trying to snipe a squirrel and never saw it.
Nope, I heard one bark, and then we left.
And so then we rode down, had to pick up my ground blind, which is my nemesis.
Yeah, you had to watch a tutorial.
Yeah, for whatever reason, a 5 hub ground blind just makes me look like a buffoon. I can't figure it out for the life of me, and I've been doing it for years. This was probably my best year, though. It did not take as long as it has in the past,
It took him about 5 minutes.
which it shouldn't. I think the tutorial video I watched was like 25 seconds, but it's up I got it broken down and put up, and then we moved that camera to the end of that where we've been seeing a bunch of turkeys.
Oh, and then we moved the camera that we had on that field to the end of the field to look for turkeys.
Yeah, we blew a couple wood ducks off of a little water.
Yeah.
A little buildup of water because it's been raining a whole bunch. We had to walk down that big muddy embankment across the creek.
Oh, yeah.
I was thought you were going to bust it for a minute.
I thought you were going to bust it.
Well, you were like, I feel like I'm on a treadmill because he was running in the mud. His feet were just moving, trying to get up the hill, but he wasn't going anywhere. He was just going, but I had to grab him. We had to cross like a low creek crossing.
And the tide was pretty fast.
The current was pretty fast. But I had to grab him by the back of the collar and walk him across the creek so he didn't go floating down. Or floating off, I should say. But we made it and got everything put up. And
a few times I thought Dad was going to fall because he was like, whoa.
You know, it was slick. It's pretty nasty on both sides. But we got it done. Got everything up. Left 2 cameras out there for hopefully some turkeys. Have not seen any yet. But it's still time. It's getting that time. It's getting right. It's been about 80 degrees here in Mississippi.
We got on one of our first rainy, cold days.
Yeah, it's been 80 degrees and it dropped down to like 60, low 40s last night, but it's pouring rain today and pouring rain tomorrow, which is why we're recording a podcast because somebody wanted to do something else.
Yeah, I wanted to squirrel hunt in the rain in a stand because there was a certain field that had a creek in the middle of it and squirrels on one side and squirrels on the other the last day of deer season.
Yeah, but he's been talking about squirrel hunting for 2 days now, but I'm just not going to go squirrel hunt in the rain. Not yet. He wants to go sit in a deer blind and not walk around because this one blind just has a bunch of squirrels floating around. And we may do that. So
much squirrel.
We may do it, but not today. It's literally pouring down rain, and I've already been soaking wet because I had to go help somebody get unstuck today.
Where?
Eric. I had to. It's always a good day when I'm a Land Cruiser diehard and a Toyota fanboy. So anytime the old Tundra can pull a jacked up 250 and a dump trailer out of the mud, I take that opportunity to let the first gen Tundra go pull them out. So, but got all wet and muddy while I was helping him do that. So I was good.
Yeah, we both got wet and muddy today.
Yeah, because you decided to go shoot basketball in the rain. What?
I mean, I couldn't help myself. It was basketball.
And it was raining, so it's always fun. But anyway, one of the things Joe talked about last week, and he's been wanting to tell this story a whole bunch. So we're going to call this the Beartooth story. He really wants to tell everybody his story about how he got his Beartooth, and a Beartooth is a model of knife by Montana Knife Company.
It's a fleshing knife.
It is, and you'll hear me call it, say MKC. That's Montana Knife Company. They're good friends of ours, and so I'm going to let Joe tell his Beartooth story because he's really proud of this story. Take it away.
So I make walking sticks, and so I made Brett, and Brandon, and Josh a walking stick, Josh Smith.
Don't forget Jess, his wife.
Oh, and Jess. And so I gave Brett his. We went to lunch with him, and I gave him it, and he loved it. So and then the next day, we went to MKC. I gave one to Brandon. He loved it, and they absolutely let me raid their,
merch room. I'm pretty sure the hat you're wearing right now is one you pulled off the shelf.
Yeah. I absolutely raided that room. And then Josh arrived, and then I gave Jess, his wife, a walking stick. And then I gave Josh his, and he's like, "You want to trade?" I'm like, "What?" So he says, "What knife do you want?" I'm like, not even a millisecond later, I'm like, "Beartooth." And he's like, "All right." So we go into the like room with all the knives, and we're looking for one. We can't find one, and he almost pulled one out of some section. I can't remember what it was, but then we found one, and it was a green handle, and I love it. I wear it to deer camp a lot.
You do wear it all the time. Now let me back up and fill in some gaps in your story because you get so excited. They're in Frenchtown, Montana. We
Yeah.
are outside of Jackson, Mississippi. It's pretty far away.
Yeah.
So we took a trip May up to Montana.
For my birthday and Dad's turkey hunting.
Correct. And the way it normally works, and I kind of alluded to this in the last podcast, but I kind of hunt turkeys kind of the east central part of the state, not terribly far from actually the north entrance of Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
It's about an
Yellowstone is
hour and a
beautiful.
half. So the trip normally starts there, and this trip we were gonna go to Bozeman. Well, we were gonna go hunt turkeys, go to Bozeman, and then go to Frenchtown, Missoula area where MKC is. Just stop in and say hey anytime we're up there. We get up and we pull up to go hunt turkeys, and we're kind of on top of we call it a mountain, but it's not terribly high, not a lot of elevation, and the wind is just ripping. I mean, it's 50, 60, 70 mile an hour, and Joe was not having that, and
I was like, nope.
didn't want to pop a tent on top of a mountain with this kind of wind, and it wasn't going to get any better, and so kind of just punted that in the trip. Figured I would do it on the way back through, kind of just change the trip all around. So we ended up going to Bozeman for a few days. Had a good time over there.
And I saw snow for the third time in my life.
Yeah, so we were sunny and windy in just where we were turkey hunting. Jumped over to Bozeman, stayed downtown for a couple of days in Bozeman, did the touristy thing. But literally overnight, woke up to like 4 or 5 inches of snow in Bozeman, just pouring down. It's like, okay, well, we're going to hightail it to Missoula, Frenchtown.
And of course, I didn't have any time to play in the snow.
Nope, he didn't get to play in the snow, but we hightailed it out. And when we get to Missoula, Frenchtown, I swear it was 85, 90 degrees and sunny as it could be. And so we got over there and then ended up going by well, let me digress just a little bit. Before that, we stopped by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
Oh yeah.
That's a big part of the story.
Yes.
I had to actually pick up a knife from there that they had for me, and they have a display case in there with all. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, Dad was talking to the person that was at the register, and I was looking at the display case, and I saw my speed goat, and I was like, "Oh look, that's my speed goat." And then I turned around, there's this table with knives in it from MKC, and I see Beartooth. I'm like, "Hey Mom, I want that Beartooth." And she's like, well." So yeah, and I was like, "I want that," and I just sit there and stare at it.
Well, because I had no idea that he ever knew what a Beartooth was. That's not one I used a whole lot. Because the Speed Goat is another MKC knife model, and we used it a bunch. He used it a ton.
And it was my first MKC knife.
It was, and it was kind of a cool moment because the first time I met Josh was actually in Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation headquarters a year, I guess a little over a year prior. And I got that Speed Goat for Joe, and Josh signed it. Joe, I don't remember the exact words, but like, hope to meet you one day, Josh. And so this go round was actually Joe had his Speed Goat on him and got to meet Josh. And but when Joe said he wanted a bear tooth, I was like, how does he even know what a bear tooth is? Like, it's not something I've had around. And he whipped it right out. It was like bear tooth. And so they ended up trading a walking stick for a bear tooth. But even more than that, Mr. Josh walked you around and showed you how to sharpen a knife. And
Yep, he polished my fingernail with a knife polisher.
Polished your fingernail on a buffing wheel and polished up and sharpened your Speed Goat. You got I think his daughter Demi.
Oh yeah.
She got you a new sheath for your Speed Goat because apparently I had it in the wrong one because there's
you did.
Couple of them around here. But yeah, he got to raid the MKC merch room, and
I got one of the orange lighters.
Yep, and he got to play. We played basketball there too. So overall, this is a good trip. I mean, it was It was definitely fun, but he had a ball up there, and
And speaking of turkey hunting up there, our Airbnb, when we drive up to it, turkeys everywhere. And they just ran off when we got there. And the person that lived in the Airbnb on the upstairs, he was like, "Oh, yeah, you can go hunt those turkeys. I don't care." And then Dad, in the morning, he went turkey hunting. And I woke up and I'm like, "Where'd Dad go?" And Mom's like, "He went turkey hunting." I'm like, "Seriously?" So he comes back and he says he had one 30 yards from him, but he couldn't shoot him because he was across
property line.
property line.
So that's close to how that story went. Of course, I was there to turkey hunt, and we pull up to the Airbnb. I realized that it's half a mile from one of the national forest entrance, so I'd ride up there and start looking around, and maybe try to go. No, hunt turkeys up there.
I thought we did try to camp up there though.
No, we just went and looked. But I went up there to just look around for turkeys, and it was actually a great place for turkeys. I ended up finding a bunch of feathers where somebody skinned one and plucked it. But we get there the night of, and we're sitting out. The Airbnb there's a house upstairs, and then like you kind of are in the basement. It's a gorgeous setup. But there were turkeys everywhere, just literally everywhere. They were making noises and doing things I've never seen turkeys do in Mississippi. And me and Joe were just sitting back there watching. I got to talking to the guy that owns the place. He's like, "Oh man, if you want to go shoot a turkey, go shoot a turkey." I was like, "I'll take you up on it." So the next 2 mornings or 3 mornings, I'm out there every morning, and the turkeys have disappeared. Like there were no turkeys. The very last morning is what Joe's talking about, and I had one come in. It was kind of a smaller parcel of property, so I was making sure I was on their land and everything. And I had one at 30 yards, 40 yards, and I'm watching him, and he will not close. And I have a perfect shot, but he is on the other opposite side of the property line, and I just couldn't close him the rest of that distance. And about that time, I see a hen go down the hill, and he just kind of looks up and just follows her down the hill, and off they go, and I never see him again.
Yep.
And it was a good trip. But that's Joe's Beartooth story. He's been he shows everybody that knife. He loves that knife. He let me use it for the alligators.
I did not let him. I was at my grandmother's and grandpa's, and he said that he used my Beartooth.
True.
So I did not let you use it. You just helped yourself to it.
Good thing is you're not old enough to just run around with a bunch of knives, so I can use whatever I want. But yeah, we've used it. We used it on your deer this year.
Oh yeah.
You used it on a couple when you were cleaning off rib meat and some of the other stuff.
I didn't really use it on rib meat. I used it to take off shoulders.
That's right. Used it to take off shoulders, and then
I used my speed goat to take off the ribs.
That's right. So that's Joe's Beartooth story. He's been dying to tell everybody that one. And I'm pretty sure he'll be telling that one for a long, long time.
Yep.
It might change a little bit, but he's really happy about that. So back to, let's say, squirrel hunting. You want to talk about our squirrel? What two things do you use to squirrel hunt? Because we have a couple weeks left, and we're going to try to go get some. But tell everybody the 2 things or 3 things that you use to shoot squirrels.
Shotgun, my 22, and Dad's 22.
So the shotgun he's talking about is a single shot 410. I want to say it's maybe a Rossi. I got him when he was probably 4. It's one of those that has like the pistol grip, but you can hold 22 shells on one side of it and 410 shotgun shells on the other side. Single shot safety. So we have the 22 barrel that has the scope on it.
Yeah, so it's changeable from shotgun to 22.
Yep. So I'll let him run around with the 410 on that just because it's lightweight. He has another 410 that we use for turkey hunt that actually has a red dot on it, but it's a little bit harder to actually break the action open. This one, he can probably do it now, but last year he had some trouble. But this little Rossi he runs around with, and it's it's a non-choked 410, so he has that. But the thing we've probably killed the most squirrels with is I have a 22.
Well, I've never killed a squirrel.
Have you never shot at one with it?
I've shot at one, but it didn't work out.
Well, so we have a suppressor on the 22.
Yeah, we have a suppressor on everything but my 410.
Yeah, we don't have a shotgun suppressor. But yeah, it's a Savage FBSR MK2 or something. It's the best 22 I've found, and I like it because I shoot subsonic 22s, Federal Gold Metal Match 22 ammo. I can shoot a 1 inch at 100 yards with it. The gun absolutely hammers where you
It's
put it.
amazing.
It really is. And when you use that federal gold medal match, it's factory subsonic. So it's like 1,050 or right shy of 1,100. So
I love the subsonic because they are so quiet.
yeah, I've had it on a 1022, but you hear that action moving and it's actually louder than you think. This bolt gun, you shoot and all you hear is whatever the bullet hits.
You just hear the click of the
Trigger.
trigger.
Yeah, the hammer fall.
Yeah, the hammer. And then you hear the impact.
And that's it.
It's kind of like click, boom.
It's nowhere near that.
Well,
like you were way louder than that is.
Click,
But
click.
that's really fun to run around the woods with because,
Click.
I mean, if you've ran around with a 22 shooting CCI, Mini Max, or whatever it is, they're not that quiet. When I was younger, I thought they were quiet. But ever since I've started shooting things suppressed, I'm like, man, these are loud. And so we can run around the woods and not have to worry about hearing protection because there isn't anything to hurt your ears.
Yeah.
So the goal, though, is when I come back from Utah to get out into the squirrel woods, because do you remember when we made some squirrel dumplings?
Yeah, they were delicious.
I mean, the squirrel dumplings, hold on, the squirrel dumplings, if you have not had squirrel dumplings, and I'm not a big dumpling person, but man, these things are good. Actually, I kind of robbed Clay Newcomb's recipe on that you can find online, but I know what story you're about to tell about the squirrel. Go for it.
So we killed a raccoon because we trapped it. So we cooked squirrel and raccoon nachos. Well, Dad did. Me and Mom had no idea. I said it was delicious, and then Mom said it was absolutely amazing, and then Dad said it was raccoon and squirrel. She went, it was disgusting.
So what I did was I slow cooked squirrel and I put some raccoon in there, and I basically made barbecue, like shredded pulled barbecue out of it. It was amazing. We actually made squirrel and raccoon nachos that were slow cooked, braised in stock and just really slow cooked all day long, and then heavy barbecue sauce and just put them over nachos with like jalapenos and sour cream and stuff. And they were incredible, and everybody thought they were incredible. And I was like, oh, by the way, there's raccoon in that, and that didn't go over real well.
Yeah, Mom about killed Dad.
But the fact is everybody loved it before I told them what it was. So if you don't eat your raccoons, do it because they're really good on some pulled pork nachos or pulled nachos.
And for all those raccoon haters, if you don't like raccoons in your trash, shoot them or trap them and then cook them.
That's right. You can cook them or shoot them. But yeah, so we're going to try to get on the squirrels pretty heavy because we haven't had dumplings this year. So
no,
we're going to need some of those. What else you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. I leave in 2 days to go to Western Hunt Expo.
Yeah, don't
I'm going to keep reminding you of that because
you don't have to.
When we come back, all we're going to do is talk about it.
No, we're not.
Why not?
Because.
You don't want to talk about it?
No. Unless if you bring me a Live Wild sticker and a autograph Remy Warren if you get to talk to him.
So those are the only two things you want me to bring you back?
And anything else that you can find that you think
okay.
like.
So it went from two things to anything else that I could possibly find.
And I'm not kidding.
About what?
About finding me anything else?
You have all sorts of stuff. Don't worry, I will find you anything else. Whole bunch of stuff. That's why I'm bringing a big suitcase so I can check it on the plane in case I have to come back with a whole bunch of junk. Just for you. And then I'm going to tell you all about it on the podcast.
On the podcast?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah.
No, why not?
And I'll tell you all about the time at the beach that I had.
I don't care about the beach.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. So anyway, I think it's about time for us to wrap it up, but you got to tell me a joke first.
I don't know any jokes.
Make one up off the top of your head.
Yeah, why don't you do it? Because I'm horrible at jokes.
You tell me jokes every day, all day.
And they all are horrible.
Give me one right now.
Be prepared for a bad joke.
Okay. Give it to me. Do, 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 do. Count.
I don't know any.
Give me one.
No.
What's your one about the bull?
What bull?
Last podcast was about ground beef. You have one about something in a bull and...
Oh, how do you get a bull to stop charging?
How?
Take away its credit card.
But that was better. At least you remembered that one. But that took way too long for us to get to that. I'm going to need you to think about that. We'll have to have a better one next time.
All right. How about we just make a joke list?
You make a joke list.
I have a joke book.
Well, then why don't you have your joke book out and let's read from your joke book?
I don't know.
Maybe next time?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to about do it for today. We just wanted to get one out here before this week was over with. And hopefully you like it. If you do, what do they have to do?
Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.
And share it with your friends. If you have kids, this would be a great podcast for them to listen to. Maybe they can get to sewing. So I think that's about it. Y'all have a good one, okay?
Bye.